What is poppin' in the chop of my Bagel Bites? It is Mr. Bagel Bites here, bringing a new deck profile video. Sorry for the last couple weeks. Been a little scarce on the uploads. I've been preparing heavy playtesting, heavy deck crafting and theory in Edison for RBE Team Maryland here in about a week from when I'm recording this. But I got a new deck profile because I was able to make it out to locals today for Modern Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm bringing you the new bad boy on the block, Mimighoul. I went 4-0 at this over the weekend, and I can't wait to get into the profile, so let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, let's go ahead and get into the profile here. Kicking it off, we got 2 of the Master. Personally, don't think you need 3. Don't think it's very good right now, depending on what brew you're playing. It might be different depending on that. But he's good. He searches a Mimighoul monster on summon. If you have another Mimighoul, he can't be destroyed by card effects. And I think battle, if I'm not mistaken as well. Yeah, battle and card effects, which is pretty solid. Good little normal summon here is the Stratos. But then another cool thing is, during the main phase on your opponent's turn, he can flip a face-down monster face-up, so you flip like the dragon, pops their board, and passes on back to you. Really good card. We got 3 of the dragon. Probably my favorite one. Searches a Mimighoul spell trap on normal or special summon. And then also, what's cool is on your opponent's turn, or not on your opponent's turn, but like if it's flip face-up, just blows up their entire monster zone. A little Regeki on your opponent's turn, which is pretty cool. Yeah, and then like the normal or special getting you the card. Just probably my favorite one, Dragon, so far. Who knows what the next 7 cards when we get them, though. Next one, we got triplets of the Mimighoul Archfiend. Really good. His on flip is when he's flipped, you discard a card, so it's your opponent. So your opponent would discard 1 card, and then you would draw 1 card if it's on your opponent's board. Other cool thing, too, is he has the Archfiend effect, where when he's summoned, he can make your opponent make a face down monster on your opponent's field face up. So you can flip, so if you draw him plus another Mimighoul, you can go ahead and just flip your card face up and kind of get stuff going, and then you have 2 monsters, which is pretty cool. And then 1 Cerberus. I personally don't think you need more than 1 of him. I don't know even if I would go more, maybe just to have another name. He's pretty cool though. He flips, he has like a runic kind of effect where it banishes 3 of your opponent's top cards, and then if there's a banished monster in that, you go ahead and special summon it to your board. So you get kind of a cool effect on that where you kind of get a monster potentially depending on what you're playing against. Another cool thing people forget about, and this happened a few times during the event where we played it, if he's on your board, your opponent can't target your face-up spell cards. So that's actually a really cool effect. Plus, with the field spell on board, he's a 2200 attacker. So that's pretty cool. Next one we got play sets of the Mimighoul Dungeon. The dungeon's really good. So it has a main phase search effect, so you can recur it. It goes ahead and makes it so if your opponent, or whoever, I believe it's either player. Yep. So if a player controls a face-down monster, they cannot normal summon nor declare an attack with monsters that are special summoned that turn. So it's really cool because it's a little like lockout card. And then another cool thing about it is your Mimighoul monsters that were not normal or special this turn gain attack equal to defense. That's why I was saying like he goes to 22, Archfiend's 19, and oh, the Master's 3k, but then the Dragon's 25. And then during the main phase, add a Mimighoul monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So even if you have them in the graveyard, you can kind of recur them, which is why you don't really need to play triplets of at least Master. And Cerberus is just kind of like a one-of text, since like you kind of want the other name. So the field spell's really good. Followed up, I only play 2 Maker. I'm playing 43 cards. Like, I guess if you're at 43, like 44 is not the end of the world. But I like to set as a 2 when you're playing more of a like Mimighoul centric as opposed to like a weird variant with like the summon curse and stuff like that. So I personally probably wouldn't go higher, but there's definitely an argument for it. It's definitely a good card. I just don't think I'm playing enough flip monsters to justify it. But you reveal 2, give 1 to your opponent, the other one goes to your hand on a random chance, and then it has a graveyard effect where you banish and you can change a monster to face up attack or defense position, which is pretty cool. Quick play spell, really good card, or normal spell, really good card, not a quick play. 3 of the Room. This card is just so good. Like, I wouldn't, like, I could never go under 3. Especially a Mimighoul from your hand or deck to your field and face down defense position. Or, oh my gosh. Special summon a Mimighoul from your hand or deck to your field or in face down defense position to your opponent's field. So you can grab, like, one of your guys if you want. Like, the Dragon can then search a spell or trap, or, the like Archfiend can flip a guy, I believe it's normal special. But yeah, so you have like that stuff, which is pretty cool. And then you can banish it from your grave and target any number of Mimighoul cards you control. So it's not even just monsters, it's cards. So it's really cool. And then return them to the hand. Which is just sick, because it gives you a little bit of, like, recursion there. And then just, like, protecting your cards if, like, something's going to out them. Or if you just want to summon them again. Like, it's just a really cool tech. I think that card is insane. I definitely wouldn't want to go under 3. So that's, like, the Mimighoul cards. Now we get into the next part of the deck. So we're playing Triple Fen. Like, the Kashtira stuff just works so well with these, because your opponent, technically, because you're giving the Mimighouls to your opponent, is activating so many effects. So this is good going first and second. I think Fenrir is a really solid card. Yeah. We're playing one Unicorn right now, and then the one Birth. I wanted to play Theosis, but I couldn't really make room for it. I was already, like, struggling to cut it down from 45. So I think just this little package here is nice. I'm going to be honest, depending on what comes up and, like, if I can get a few of the cards, I think I might do something like I did with the Shining Sarcophagus Kashtira deck that I built. If make sure you check that out if you haven't yet. I'll put it in the description here somewhere. And play multiple Unicorn, and then play Winter Cherries in the main, because your extra deck isn't super important in this brew. Like, it comes up obviously, but you could definitely play like Cherries and just like lock out your opponent's extra deck just by getting rid of all of their cards. So that might be something I do, because I could, like, probably splash a few different good cards into this and then just start, like, getting rid of your opponent's spots, because there's definitely room. Which ones? I would probably pick probably a couple, one or two, like the Fiendsmith, like maybe Requiem, or the fusion, the fusion, like the good one that people play. So, like, there's an argument for those, and, like, extra deck space is so tight in those decks right now that hitting, like, some of those specific cards just shuts your opponent down because they don't know how to combo from there. Kind of same with, like, Tempai when I played, Tempai and Snake Guy, when I played them before Info. Like, I hit Promethean Princess during certain points in combo, and they just, like, were lost on what to do. Like, oh, I don't know how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Anymore. I don't know where my combo lines go now. So, like, it's such really cool. And it's kind of like the same thing with Unicorn. I think it's really good right now. This might get just bumped up. Like, honestly, I might cut a Fen for a Unicorn. I just really love Fenrir, and it searches them all. So, I don't know. There's definitely an argument for a bigger cash package. Like, definitely could be squeezed into here by cutting or changing some stuff. 2 Prosp. We do draw off Archfiend. It does come up. And, like, there's other draw cards. So I kind of like this at 2 for the rest of, like, how the deck we're playing it. There's an argument to play 3, but I think 2 is personally fine. 1 Terraforming to search the field spell. It's really good. 2 Tactics Talent. Again, you're mostly using this to draw, but sometimes you do take a monster and can link it off and keep playing. Very rarely do I take from the opponent's hand, but based on what they may have, if Archfiend's resolved, sometimes I will, if I'm in a really good, like, board presence, use the Tactics to get rid of their hand. So it does come up. I am playing Triple Thrust. I think Thrust is such an incredible card. You can get, like, your Mimighoul, the Trap, the Room. You can get your Tactics, Talent, Terraforming, and Prosp, which is why I can cut down on the ratios on these a little bit. So I think 3 is good. You can definitely cut that down. That's another card that was in theory to be cut down. But I really like 3 in the deck. I really want to see it, especially with some of the side stuff. 3 Imperm, really good. This is where we kind of get into, like, the traps. We do have one. We are playing the 1 Tikaboo. There can only be 1. Because all of your cards are different types, except the 1 Fenrir and, like, Unicorn are both Psychic. But, I mean, like, it's kind of fine because you're not really playing that kind of deck. So there can only be 1, can just steal a lot of games. And if it's at 1, there's no reason to not play it at 1. I mean, let's be honest. And then, like, the actual hand traps. 3 Nib. Oh, here he comes. Sorry, viewers. 3 Shifter. This card's insane. I'm sorry. If you're not playing Fiendsmith Snake Eye, I mean, you should probably be playing Shifter in your deck if you can do it. It, unfortunately, is pretty needed. And it can also stop some, like, if they're not prepped for it, some Tenpai and stuff too. And a lot of Rogue. Like, Shifter is just good. I'm sorry. I know I made a lot of people mad the last time. But it is what it is. And then 3 Ash Blossom, because it can work under Shifter. I like these. I like this ratio. We're technically playing like 12 hand traps with the Imperms. And then a couple like kind of floodgate ways with the field spell and Tikaboo. You have a lot of control and stuff that the opponent just doesn't know how to play around because you're playing such a weird like deck. Like its interactions, the Mimighoults are so freaking cool. Like the interactions just play so much differently than a lot of decks and how they do. Now we'll go ahead and get into the extra deck. 1 SP, 1 IP, pretty explanatory. 1 Anima, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, and 1 Access Code. That wraps up the links. I thought about playing the Earth Charmer. It never really came up during playtesting, so I kind of just cut it and was like, honestly, I kind of want to play some different Xyz monsters that come up that are kind of cool. So we'll kind of get into those now. 1 Typhon Sky Crisis. This card's amazing. I love this card so much. We're playing 2 Zeus. I honestly played 2 Zeus because of Unicorn, and I was sick of my Zeus getting gotten. So we're playing 2 Zeus and 2 Downerd because since we're playing a little bit smaller link package, this does actually come up occasionally. These are part of the spots where like Winter Cherries was considered, but was not capitalized on. And then like these are the ones. So we're playing 1 Utopic Roots because I have OTK'd a couple times after we clear, because like I'll have like a Zeus that wants to like run into something. And then with Utopic Roots, it works kind of like Utopia, where if any player's monster declares an attack, you can attach a material, negate the attack, and then if it was an Xyz monster's effect, he gains attack 500 times its rank. So, like, Zeus, for instance, is a freaking 12. So, like, if you, like, negate your Zeus's swing for 3k, and, like, this is on board... Or the Sky Crisis. That came up more because you can like have Sky Crisis on board, and if he's still on board the next turn and you can go into Utopic Roots, you can swing with Sky Crisis into like whatever, negate the attack, and this dude goes to like 6,500 attack and can just swing. So it can just kind of OTK people out of nowhere and they're not prepared for it, and it's just like 2 1s make it, which is really sick. 1 of Bird, Fucho, however you pronounce it. He's just unaffected. He's basically there to make Zeus, but like he's not bad to kind of like pass on if you're in a really bad spot, because he's kind of hard out because he's unaffected by cards. So 1 Lyrowisk, kind of the same thing, like another way to make Zeus, but like a better way to make Zeus, but you don't typically want to pass on. And then because we are playing 7s, I wanted to play some utility for the Kashtira stuff. So we're playing 1 Phantom Beast Draco Sack to pop like certain cards and also set up our Birth in the grave so we can kind of bring it back, get tokens, and can link them off and stuff if we need them. Like, there's stuff you can do. And 1 Big Eye for utility as well, because I think Big Eye's really solid. I don't think I would play the Kashtira Planet, but I do think these are good utility, and I typically do them in any deck where I end up playing a Kashtira package. And even if this one is relatively small, it did come up where Big Eye stole me a couple games, and they're just like, oh, I can't stop that. We are playing, this is the extra side deck. We are playing 2 Fissure. It's kind of another shifter for going first. You don't want to see 3, so I played it 2. Ways to draw into it, and then hopefully you just see it. It is a continuous spell, so not a ton of real ways to search it, but I think 2 is the good ratio on that one. We are playing 2 Cosmic Cyclone. Card's really good. I hate Runic, and I love Runic, but I hate playing against Runic. My locals is relatively heavy on Runic, so I wanted to play those Cosmic Cyclones. They could be other cards, but I do like them. I'm playing 1 Dark Ruler, no more. I'm playing the 3 Thrust in main, so like I kind of wanted to play like one-ofs of cards I really liked or more. And we'll get into kind of special tech later. But Dark Ruler can come up and can just like steal you a game. It's just a really cool card. 1 Duster and 2 Lightning Storm. Just kind of blowout cards. You use them and it's just like, oh, sometimes you can just like win off of them, especially with Utopic Roots if you can get rid of their back row and like just swing for big damage. We are playing 2 Evenly. I would be playing 3, but again I'm playing 3 Thrust in main, so I actually like 2. My special tech card that no one expected that is kind of nuts. We're playing Terrors of the Overroot. So what this does is you target a card your opponent controls. Yeah, send it from the field to grave, so it's not destroy, so it gets around a lot of stuff like that. And if you do, you set a card from the graveyard to your opponent's field. So you can, if they flip a card like the oh my gosh, the Mimighoults face up, and then it transfers back to you, and then they try to play, and you have this face down, for like going first if you can activate the rest of the stuff. You activate the Terror Root if you still have the field spell up, and then pop a card that they play, and then just place any card you want from their graveyard and just set it. And just set it from the graveyard to your opponent's field. And then if it's a monster, obviously, ideally, you then get to just lock them, because then they can't normally really play any further, hopefully, is the ideal. There's quite a few lines where this came up, and I'm just like, wow, this card's actually insane. Like, I kind of want to bump it higher. So this may go to 2. 2 in the side. I even wanted to main it, honestly. We're playing a degenerate strategy that I love, that did come up twice as well. So we're playing Set Rotation and Gateway of Chaos. Man, this is old tech, and it's probably the reason Set Rotation might still be at 1. So you play Set Rotation, you pick your field spell, your Mimigoul Dungeon, and you go ahead and just give your opponent this Gateway card. So when you have a set card, you have to activate the field spell before you or a set field spell. You have to activate it before you can play a new field spell. Like, they force your opponent to activate it. So Set Rotation, you get your field spell, the Mimigoul Dungeon, you can activate it, you play your deck. Awesome. You give your opponent this card. It's this one, and then there's another one that's relatively good. It's the Zephyr field spell. 99.9% of decks can't fulfill the condition of Gateway of Chaos, which is when you activate it, you must add a Blackluster Soldier Ritual monster or a Gaia the Fierce Knight monster from your deck to your hand. In order to resolve this, you have to do step 1. The rest of the effect doesn't matter. How many decks are playing Blackluster Soldier and Gaia the Fierce Knight? I'm gonna spoil it for you. Like, -5% of decks are playing that. So they can't activate it, so they can never activate a field spell. So you don't got to worry about Divine Temple. You don't got to worry about the Sangan field spell. You just... oh, it flew. It came up. Runic. They just can't play. You just win the game. Like, this is just an auto win. Especially if you can have the... give them a monster too, and like set up something so they can't normal summon. So if they're not normaling, they can't special a lot of like cards like the Kashtiras, because they have a set monster, and then they don't want to flip it a lot of the time. So like, this can just shut out games so quick. This is so good. I love this. I thought about maining it, still back and forth, definitely considering it. Last 2 cards, 1 Mag, 1 Druid's Worm. Mag is really either just to search the Druid's Worm or the Mimigoul Dragon. It also hits like the Fiendsmith cards and Rogue, and then Druid's Worm's kind of the same thing. It's just another hand trap where you get a big body. I love these cards. But that's the brew. Let me know down below what you think. I have another deck profile coming up soon. I was looking for the box, but I can't find it. We're taking, I think I'm going to make a post about it if I haven't already. We're taking the Exodia deck. I've come up with an insane brew. It has been playtesting super well, so be on the lookout for that probably within the next few days. The Exodia Forbidden, the Unstoppable Exodia, not like the pieces. I mean, I play some, but that's not the win con. Thank you guys so much. Hit that like, subscribe button if you like. Share the video if you want someone to see this and they're like, oh my god, what a helpful video. I'm gonna like and subscribe, and you know, like, he's just such a handsome guy. Wow, cool. And he's got such a cool hat. Yeah, but thank you guys so much, and as always, catch you later.